Hey everyone, so for today's video, we are going to be doing an underrated cream products roundup. So you guys already know cream products, they're my bread and butter. They are the bread and butter of this channel, and I wanted to go back to basics, go back to what I know, and shine some light on some really incredible cream product formulas that I feel like just people don't talk about enough. Being that I am someone that tries a lot of cream products and really enjoys cream products, I do have to say I'm a little bit picky, I'm a little bit of a stickler, but on the flip side, when I really enjoy a cream product formula, I know that it's something really good. I hope that you guys do enjoy the video, so if you do, definitely make sure to give this video a thumbs up. And if you like me, I would love to have you back, so make sure to subscribe as well. Let's first start off with a concealer. It's the concealer that I'm wearing under my eyes. This is a cream concealer palette, technically, from Undone Beauty. It is their Conceal to Reveal palette, and they call it a palette because there are 3 different levels of coverage. You can't really see in the pan, but there are 3 different levels of coverage within the concealer. I like that idea because it does make this a little bit more of a versatile concealer, but I don't know if you can tell, I just put my finger straight into the palette and just put it under my eyes. Actually, I use a beauty blender, typically press it into the concealer and put it straight under the eyes. Not only am I really picky with my cream products, concealers, I would say I'm even more picky because I have hollowness and dryness. And I find that even concealers that look hydrating under my eyes sometimes won't conceal the hollowness that I have. It doesn't really reflect back light in the areas that I want it to kind of brighten up those hollows. I am doing an entire video about concealers I really like for hollowness under the eyes, and I'll get more into that in that video. But for a cream concealer, I have to say there are so many that are so stiff and so waxy, so drying under the eyes. This is a concealer I'm incredibly impressed with. Sincerely, Sarah actually was the one that recommended this to me. So glad that she did. I'm in the shade 420. It definitely is an okay shade range, but I do think that there's some room for improvement. This concealer is interesting because it's creamy, but it's also a little bit stiffer than you would think. It will melt into the finger, but that stiffness I think is what makes this look so flattering under the eyes. And also the amount of coverage. This is actually quite a lot of coverage, way more than I was expecting. I was really expecting this to be in line with like Glossier Stretch Concealer, super dewy and not a lot of coverage, but this is actually way closer to a medium coverage than I was expecting. It's what I have under my eyes today, and I just find that it looks really creamy and brightening, very flattering as a whole. It is absolutely more on the dewy side, like I mentioned before, but I like that it's dewy in a way that doesn't exaggerate texture. There are some dewy concealers that I feel like reflect back light in an unflattering way. It kind of highlights any of the texture that you have under your eyes. This one does not do that, and I just find that it definitely kind of conceals that hollowness that I have under my eyes in a way that other concealers, even with more coverage, can't. I'm really excited for that video that's coming up talking about the hollowness and how to conceal it. It's also buildable, so you can concentrate a little bit of concealer right where you need it. As a whole, I just find it to look really creamy and very flattering under the eyes. Now that we've talked about what is under my eyes, let's talk about what is on my eyelids today, and that is the Rituele de Fille Ashen Ember Eye Soot in the shade Love Spell. I feel like I talk about the Rituele de Fille Ashen Ember Eye Soots a lot on my channel, but here's the thing. I don't see anyone else talking about them, so until I do, I'm just going to keep singing the praises of this formula because I just find it to be so underrated, so unique, and I just see people, you people out there that have the same makeup aesthetic as me. I can just see so many people really enjoying this product. If you like that creamy, kind of undone eye look, this is the product for you. They call it an eye soot, and that's a really good way to put it. I think that really accurately represents the formula and the texture. It's essentially a pressed pigment that they've added oils to, so it gives you the best of both worlds. It gives you the best of kind of a powder pigment world because it blends very easily just with a brush, and that's what I usually do. I usually take a little bit more of a denser brush, just put put it into the product and then put it all over my lid. But you can see once you've applied it, it gives you this really gorgeous kind of undone creamy effect. If you want to get that really undone creamy look to your lids, but you want something that feels reminiscent of a powder, I feel like this is a really cool hybrid formula. But it's awesome because the quality of your skin, the quality of the skin on your eyelids still looks good. It doesn't look heavy, weighed down with product. It's still going to look really creamy. And I just love the light reflection quality of these. Because they're kind of a pigment cream hybrid, they really still melt onto the skin in such a beautiful way. Because the hole on the top of the container is so small, it's not really a product that you can stick your finger into and then apply to the lid. Going with the more dense detail brush, like I was saying before, this Pro Shadow 18 brush from Sephora is by far my favorite shadow brush, period. If you are a cream shadow person and you have not found the right brush for you, this one is it's just so good. It applies this absolutely perfectly. Every shade that I have, I really enjoy, but Love Spell, I really like to apply when I want my green eyes to really pop. So beautiful. And I also have the same warm feelings about the Rituele de Fille Rare Light Cream Highlighter. I'm sorry, Cream Luminizer. I am in the shade Phosphene. That is what is on my cheeks today. I have to say that I am one of those people that, you know, I get a lot of glow from my foundation, from my cream blush, and it takes a lot now for me to go out of my way to apply a cream highlight on. Let me know if you can relate to that, but for me, I really need the formula to be something extra special. I really need for the cheeks to look extra glossy and really natural. It just has to add that extra something that I'm not already getting with my base products. Well, I'm here to tell you that Rituele de Fille definitely did that with this product. It gives you a really skin-like glossy effect, and they've been able to do that because this formula is quite stiff and it's much thinner than the traditional kind of cream highlight. A lot of them are super melty and they feel a little bit tacky on the skin or like they're kind of slipping around. This is definitely not that kind of highlight, and really I was expecting, when I felt the texture, I was expecting for it to look a little bit dry on the skin because it was a little bit more of that cream powder kind of formula, but this looks so glossy and so pretty. It's absolutely not one of those highlights that looks really chunky or heavy or glittery. For me, it's like a soft, glossy glow. It also doesn't look like you just put Vaseline on your cheekbones. It just has this beautiful softness to it. It really makes the skin glow, and it's also not a glow that I can readily get with my base products, with my cream blushes. So I do reach for it, and I just find that this is one of those cream highlight products that if you're like me, if you're looking for that perfect kind of glossy, soft glow, but you don't want something that remains really tacky on the skin, you don't want something that looks really heavy, this is absolutely one that I would recommend. I just really love it. I think it looks extra natural because it's so thin, and it kind of just melts into the skin to be more of a kind of skin-like texture. So yes, very much a fan of this. Let's move on into a product that I fully expected when I tried it out to not like it. These are the Winky Luxe Cheeky Rose blushes. So I have to say, I bought one, I was like, maybe I'll do a video on it. This seems like a kind of, you know, gimmicky, fun product to try out. A little bit of a Beauty and the Beast kind of vibe, but here's the thing. Is the gimmick there? Yes. Is the formula really good? Yes. I acknowledge that the packaging is bulky, and I don't like that the packaging is bulky. The formula just completely makes up for it. If you are someone that really loves a kind of cream to powder finish, this is one of the best blushes that you could look into. A lot of kind of cream to powder products can tend to be a little bit finicky, I've found. And I don't even know if they even call this a cream to powder finish. I would almost call it just a blotted cheek blush look. It goes to more of a skin-like matte finish on the skin, which I think makes this really an ideal cream cheek product for someone that likes powders, but they want to dabble in cream blushes, because this looks incredibly like featherweight on the skin. Very, very thin. And again, it just gives you that like touch of blur and that touch of a blotted look. I originally bought the shade Dodgy, and Dodgy is really pretty if you want like that true like pink flush look. It's so bright, just so flattering. But I also picked up Crown, and Crown is perfect if you just want that like nude everyday blush color. All I do is take my e.l.f. stipple brush and I put it straight into the petals, apply it onto the cheeks, and it just looks so healthy, so thin and lightweight, all while having that really pretty pop. This is also a really nice kind of no fuss cream product because it doesn't mess with other cream products or other foundations, concealers that you already have on. You could totally powder and then put this on, even though, let's be honest, I'm not really a powder person. So if you were looking into these, know that they are not a gimmick and the formula is actually really, really nice. Let's talk about another cream blush. This is the one that I'm wearing on my cheeks today. It is the 3CE Take a Layer Multipot in the shade Diotima. This is definitely like a classic color for me. It's kind of like a nude orange kind of shade that I think is just very, very, very pretty. Definitely an Amanda shade, but there are a lot of shades to choose from, and these are a multi-pot product, so you could use them on the eyes, you could use them on the cheeks, on the lips. This is not a new product, but I have to say, I think that this is so underrated. I really don't hear a lot of people talking about these. It is maybe just because it's a K-beauty brand. This isn't a product you can just walk into Sephora and buy, but wow, is this just an incredible cream blush formula. It is so silky smooth, but not slippy. So there's definitely a differentiation that I take into account when I'm dealing with cream blushes. I want it to be silky smooth and it to feel really nice on the fingers and apply really easily on the skin. But if it's too slippy, then it runs the risk of moving your foundation, your concealer, your whatever is on your face all over your face, which is not what we want. This gives you such a gorgeous look. There's this soft blur to it. It makes the quality of your skin look really good, and you can just apply this with fingers and it just melts into the skin. And there's really just something about this formula. There are certain other cream blushes like these ones from Winky Lux. This will kind of give you that skin-like blotted cheek look. But this really feels like when it's applied, it's like filtering your skin as you apply it, but you're not left with a really silicone-y feeling. You're not left with something that's going to slip around. These definitely stay in place, which I appreciate. I just love a blush that can make my cheeks look less textured if I do have texture going on. These smell very vanilla-y. Honestly, I don't mind it. It smells really good. Let me actually just show you right now how easy it is to apply this. It's just like, I can't believe it. Every time I put it on, I just watch it kind of blur out my skin and just melt. Truthfully, I haven't been this impressed with a cream blush formula in a while. You will certainly be seeing me talk way more about these. Next, let's talk about a stick shadow. So this is a pretty new launch. I believe it was launched like last fall. This is from Makeup Forever. It's the Aqua Resist Smoky Shadow. I have mine in the shade Earth. I really want the shade, I think it was Pink Canyon. That shade looks incredible. But these are just your typical cream stick shadow. But for me, this is just such a nice multi-use product. So the first thing I really like about these is that one, it's kind of a screw up stick product, but it has a point at the end. So I feel like that makes this a little bit more versatile. I like to just be able to take a product and just stick it on my eyes. You can just scribble it on the outer corner, have a little bit more control and go on to the lash line line as well, which makes this just like a really all-around easy cream shadow product that is budge proof. So this is like so perfect for those of you that find that your cream shadows move around a lot, or you find that just cream shadows don't last on your lids. So I like it because it's really budge proof, but it gives you enough wiggle room to be able to work with the product and get a really seamless look. There are some of these kind of stick shadow products that you could use as a liner or as a shadow, but they're so stiff and they're so budge proof that they don't give you enough time to kind of work the product into the places that you want it to go. I love that this has a little bit more wiggle room, but when it sets down, it's budge proof. I also will say that it's hard to tell what the colors will look like just through swatches, because I don't know if you can see from this looks way more reddy, and then when you swatch it out, it kind of has that touch of smokiness, that kind of smoky shadow quality that they're talking about. So just keep that in mind when you're picking a shade. Next, let's talk about a product that I don't know if it's as underrated as some of the other products we're talking about. It's the Fenty Matchstick. I know that this got a lot of hype behind it when these first released, but I do feel like now that the Cheeks Out cream bronzer has come out, I do really, really like that formula. But now that that formula is out, you know, people are like, I'll just go with that. I don't need the Matchstick formula in my life. You are so wrong. The Matchstick in the shade Mocha is a product that I love so, so very much. It's very simple. This looks like actual tanned skin. It's not going to add a lot of extra dew to your skin. It's not going to look ultra creamy on the skin. This just manages to look like actual shape and just actual tanned skin. Because the formula is so thin, it really is able to mimic the skin's texture in a way that other creamier products can't. Because let's be honest, our skin doesn't look creamy on its own. Our skin tends to be a touch flatter. And not that this is a flat product, but it's able to kind of mimic the skin's texture to look ultra skin-like. I honestly don't even know how many times I just said skin, so I apologize. But anyway, this is just my perfect shade as well. It gives me the warmth, but it also gives me a really pretty shape. I really don't think that people talk about this formula enough. I honestly was one of those people that stayed clear away from it because I was like, I don't want a choppy looking, drying looking cream contour or cream bronzer product. I'm really glad that I tried it out because it is just way more than meets the eye. And lastly, we have some liquid shadows that I actually just recently talked about. I have all of the shades from Rare Beauty, the Stay Vulnerable liquid shadows. I went full in depth in my Stay Vulnerable collection review, so I will leave that down below in case you guys want to see that video. But I just really enjoy these because I'm a kind of person that, again, I like these kind of undone, creamy looks, but those aren't the most long-lasting looks, and sometimes I want my eye looks to last a little bit longer than usual. Using a liquid shadow like this is my kind of secret weapon into getting a more long wear look with the creaminess that I want, because you can just take this into the crease and that'll kind of stop any of the migrating or creasing on that part of the lid, and then you can put like a really glossy looking shadow on the top of the lid itself, so you kind of get the best of both worlds. These are super crease resistant, but they don't look heavy, cakey, drying. They're also not going to crackle off the lid because a lot of liquid shadows look really crackly and dry. Like, I feel like you apply them and then it just like sucks the life out of your lids, which is not what I want. And that's the whole reason I gravitate towards cream shadows as opposed to powder shadows. I just find that powder shadows run the risk of looking really heavy on the lids. And these are all matte shades that will be able to give you some definition without looking heavy. Now, that being said, I do wish that there was a wider shade selection, just because I feel like these are all kind of neutral shades. They're a little bit more on the light side. I do want to see some really rich, kind of deeper pigments. I'll actually throw up a look that I posted on TikTok recently, and you'll just see that these are so easy when they blend out onto the lids and they're just a great base for a look, but also I absolutely love the way that they look on their own. The shade Nearly Neutral is definitely by far one of my favorites, and surprisingly enough, Nearly Berry is also one that I really, really love. I consider these to be underrated because when the Rare Beauty Stay Vulnerable collection launched, a lot of people were talking about the balms, a lot of people were talking about the blushes, but not a lot of people were talking about the liquid shadows, but these are really, really beautiful. So that is everything. These are all of my underrated cream products that I wanted to share with you. Let me know down below, what are your favorite cream products that you just don't hear people talking about? I would personally love to know. And thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, definitely make sure to give it a thumbs up. And of course, if you like me, I would love to have you back. So make sure to subscribe before you go. And with all of that, you guys, I will see you in my next one.